Hello friends, my name is Isabella. Today we are recapping 2023 science fiction comedy mystery movie They Cloned Tyrone. Before starting the recap, please hit the like and subscribe button and help me to reach 500 subscribers. I will really appreciate that, and now let's start the video. The movie opens with Fontaine, a drug dealer in a retro-futuristic neighborhood called the Glen, facing odds against him and adhering to a daily schedule. His mother stays secluded in her room, rarely engaging in conversation with Fontaine, and he still grieves the loss of his younger brother. Slick Charles, one of Fontaine's customers, instigates a brawl with Yo-Yo, one of his many sex workers. Fontaine intervenes and confronts Slick Charles, who owes him money. Along the way, Fontaine crosses paths with Yo-Yo. Despite managing to retrieve some of the money from Slick, Fontaine is fatally shot by Isaac, a rival drug dealer, as he exits the scene. The following morning, Slick is astonished when Fontaine reappears, demanding the money once again, seemingly alive and with no recollection of the events from the previous night. The two men locate Yo-Yo to verify Slick's claims of Fontaine's death, which baffles Fontaine. He recalls seeing a bleeding man, shot, being abducted by a black SUV, which is now stationed outside a trap house. Intrigued, Fontaine enters the house to investigate, accompanied by Slick and Yo-Yo, who express their concerns. Inside, they stumble upon an elevator leading to an underground laboratory. Within, a Caucasian scientist with an afro informs them that the operation has expanded significantly. Curious but cautious, Slick snorts a mysterious white substance he believes to be cocaine. However, he erupts into uncontrollable laughter and inadvertently causes an explosion that results in the scientist's demise, as Yo-Yo looks on. Before departing, the trio stumbles upon a lifeless body on a table, an exact replica of Fontaine. The next morning, Fontaine once again breaks into the house, only to find that the entrance to the lab has vanished. At a fried chicken restaurant, everyone in the establishment suddenly bursts into laughter simultaneously, leading Slick to realize that the same white substance he previously ingested is present in the fried chicken. Delving deeper into the investigation, Yo-Yo charms the restaurant manager, who oddly bears a resemblance to the scientist Slick accidentally killed. She uncovers that the entire Glen is under surveillance and being recorded. Further revelations come to light when they realize that the substance is also being incorporated into grape drinks and hair products for black women. Decrypting hidden messages found in the alcoholic beverages Fontaine encounters daily, they uncover a local black church. The group becomes unsettled when the churchgoers collectively sing disturbing lyrics influenced by the grape drink after the service concludes. This leads them to discover an elevator concealed within the altar. They uncover that the lab facility sprawls across the entire Glen area and bear witness to disturbing behavioral experiments being inflicted upon black individuals. They make the chilling discovery that the lab houses clones of every resident in the Glen, including Fontaine and Slick Charles. Furthermore, they observe predominantly white scientists exercising control over these clones through specific songs and visual stimuli. Exiting through a local strip club, an alarm is triggered by Fontaine, leading the group to encounter the DJ. Through a manipulative song, the DJ brainwashes the clubgoers and compels them to pursue the trio. Nixon, a white man, and Chester, a clone of Fontaine, intervene to halt the clubgoers' pursuit. Nixon unveils a shocking truth. Scientists like him are conducting experiments on impoverished, primarily black communities, including the Glen. These experiments are intended to evade detection and purportedly bring about peace in America. Using a trigger word, Nixon gains control over the entire crowd's actions, with the exception of Yo-Yo. He instructs Fontaine to place a pistol in his mouth, a command that Fontaine tragically obeys. Yo-Yo pleads for Fontaine's life, prompting Nixon to employ another trigger word that releases everyone from their hypnotic trance. It is revealed that the entire crowd was conscious throughout, unable to resist their compelled actions. Despite Yo-Yo being an unaffected witness, Nixon still issues a threat, vowing to utilize the trigger word on the crowd once again if they persist in their investigation. The following day, Fontaine sinks deeper into despair upon realizing that his mother, whom he had never physically met, existed only as a voice on a tape recorder. Fueled by determination, Yo-Yo takes matters into her own hands, but a mistake leads to her identity being exposed, resulting in her abduction by Nixon. In response, Fontaine collaborates with Slick and Isaac to devise a plan for rescuing Yo-Yo. They concoct a scheme involving Fontaine faking his own demise, enabling him to infiltrate the lab undetected. Fontaine grants access to Slick and Isaac, who join forces with numerous Glen residents to launch an assault on the lab. The liberation mission leads to the release of the black individuals subjected to experimentation, including the clones. Meanwhile, Yo-Yo manages to free herself and reunites with Slick. Chester overwhelms Fontaine, leading to his captivity and introduction to an older version of himself, the authentic Fontaine. This revelation uncovers the shocking truth that the real Fontaine is collaborating with the scientists to facilitate peace by erasing Black identity through a process of mind control and generational blending, essentially transforming Black individuals into white individuals. This unsettling endeavor is achieved through a combination of psychological manipulation and controlled breeding. The catalyst for this disturbing path was the racially motivated killing of Fontaine's younger brother by a police officer. Fueled by this tragedy, Fontaine began creating the clones as part of his response. The elder Fontaine contends that assimilation is preferable to annihilation, advocating for the country's transformation through the erasure of racial distinctions. In a tense moment, Fontaine employs Nixon's trigger word on Chester, compelling him to shoot the original Fontaine. This act of desperation unfolds as Yo-Yo successfully stalls Nixon's attempt to end her life, only for Slick to intervene by fatally shooting Nixon in the head. The entrance to the church facility swings open, unleashing unclothed clones into the open, laying bare the nation's covert operation. This dramatic revelation thrusts the country's hidden agenda into the public eye. Following Yo-Yo's declaration of retirement from her profession, the trio resolves to journey to Memphis with the intent of further exposing and halting the operation. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, a man named Tyrone leads a life nearly identical to Fontaine's. While in the company of his friends, they witness a televised appearance of one of Fontaine's clones, triggering a collective realization that Fontaine is, in fact, a clone of Tyrone. Movie end. Thanks for watching the video, and I will see you later with another recaps.